This is Barry Wittenstein, and I am the author of A Place to Land. My research process was as follows. I found out about the story online, and I'd never heard of it. Never heard about how Dr. King wrote his I Have a Dream speech. And so I read a book that was mentioned in the article. The book was by Dr. King's attorney and advisor and speechwriter Clarence Jones. And that gave great insight, first-person knowledge of how the speech was written. And from there, I kept diving deeper and found other books and resources that analyzed the speech, that filled in some of the details, some of the questions I had about that day in 1963, and how his iconic speech, maybe one of the most famous and important speeches of the 20th century, came to be written. In 2016, I went to a conference, writers' conference in LA. I met Neil Porter. He immediately loved the manuscript and found an appropriate illustrator, very appropriate illustrator. He reached out to Jerry Pinkney, who had done over 100 books. And from there, that's what happened. I just took a step back and did not see or did not speak to Mr. Pinkney. And when the art was finished, I was invited to see it, and it blew me out of the water. It was unbelievable. And I hope to work with Jerry again and with Neil Porter again. There's so many favorite anecdotes that I read about. Some of them are included in the book, some of them are not, because those anecdotes didn't serve the purpose of the book. One anecdote is that after Dr. King's speech, a young man who was hired for security, a college student, a lot of college students were maybe not hired, but they were asked to provide security. This gentleman, this teenage, early 20s, comes up to Dr. King and asks him for the paper that the speech was typed on. And Dr. King hands him a copy of the speech, the original copy of the speech. This gentleman still has the copy of the speech. It's in a safe somewhere. It probably is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a part of history. And we're very lucky that this young man kept the speech, because at that time no one knew the importance of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. I hope readers come to understand that even as something as great as the I Have a Dream speech required a lot of input, many eyes to look at it, Dr. King, to his great credit, listened to his advisors, took all the information in, edited out what he didn't think was appropriate, and it kept in what was appropriate. And then when Mahalia Jackson in the crowd yelled out to him, "Tell them about the dream, Martin," he was able to, in the moment, consider that option and go for it, even though he had spent the last 24, 48 hours sweating over the details of the speech. The advice I would give is the same advice I've given to myself, which is keep improving your skills. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. It literally took me 40 years to get confirmation or validation of my creative skills. I had many jobs. I was a writer and a web editor for Major League Baseball. I wrote songs for a decade with not too much success. But if you really want to do something, if you really feel like you have the spirit inside of you in whatever field you choose. And if it's being an author or being an illustrator, you just have to keep going until you break through, until you get good enough, or until you just keep knocking on the door and someone says, yeah, this is really great stuff.